And um, so and came to realize over time that this is where you find other people who like what you like and enjoy what you enjoy, even if they don't. You can find a lot of them still in a place where you can. But as a person personally who's relatively comfortable with who I am, as a geek and otherwise, we recognize that there are a lot of people who don't have aren't comfortable as geeks and being who they are. And so we started doing this panel so that we can talk to more folks like you, find out how we get to that place. And so my good friend Sid here, as well as Joe, Sam, that is my oldest daughter, and Lainey, who is joining us this time. We're here to talk about what our journeys have been like, whether we are or are not comfortable. We want you all to know that this is interactive. Here has anybody here social anxiety? A little bit, yeah. Look, some of you can willing to put your hand all the way. Let me explain that this is first and foremost safe. So we are all here to support each other and help each other. And again, figure out how we get comfortable being who we are, no matter what that is. So I'm going to start with this. Then, just, are you geek? Absolutely. Are you comfortable? Very good. We're going down the line. Joe, are you a geek? Are you comfortable? Good. Glad to hear it. Saying no? I know you're a geek. I didn't give you a choice. That's my fault. Are you comfortable? Yeah. Yeah? There was hesitation. We can explore that later. Lainey. Yeah. And you know what? So here's first and foremost, thank you for being up here in front of all these people, even though you're all comfortable. I'm gonna have a question for you. I'll say it'll be just fine. For those of you who are here, is there anybody out here in the crowd? By show of hands, anybody who is uncomfortable being a geek? Okay, I got one, I got two, I got a little bit, sort of. If you're comfortable, raise your hand. See, that's what I'm talking. Were you always comfortable? Okay, I got one or two, but not all. Let's talk about you. Have always been. Yeah, kind of, sort of. Okay, I guess we need to figure that out too. So, Sin, as someone who is comfortable, how did you get comfortable?
I started with close friends like we've been doing, pretty much.
Yeah.
And finding close friends and shit, I think that I like. I learned that I'm I have people close enough around me that I consider family to just be my complete selfish and just, go through life.
Yeah. No.
I just grounding myself. I was fortunate enough that
Not in your case, it's okay.
I was fortunate enough that my parents supported everything I did. That was the only people's opinions that really matter was my parents. If I made them feel bad, that was one of those that you don't want. Everybody else in the most part was kind of like you care about certain things people say about you, but then you're like, you know what I like, but I don't want to change that just for some random person.
Lena. Lane, you're not comfortable. Okay. not wanting to disappoint their they were also yeah. Cool. I didn't really have anybody in high school, and I didn't even know. Yeah. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any friends, whatever. I'm glad that I have on family now that I feel comfortable being. Yeah, it's normal. It is very normal here. Is it? As a woman, was it more difficult, you think, to navigate your geekdom growing up? But it can feel less well and yeah. Where are my gamers? Raise your hand if you're a gamer. Okay, you got tons of gamers. I'm gonna assume most of the comic book people in some manner. Yeah, is that a safe assumption? Shouldn't say this, but I'm here. What are our fans? Is there anybody here who like Monday morning you're gonna go back to work and your coworkers have no idea you came to a thing like this? Raise your hand. Okay, there's one. There's two. There's three. There's four. Okay. So are we not comfortable with them knowing that this is the thing that we do or that we enjoy? Okay, that's fair. That's totally fair. I understand that. What about the rest of you? You are not letting the people you work with know that this is the thing that you're doing. Is it because you think maybe they would look at you a certain way or look at you differently, something like that? Easier that way. Easier that way. What about for those of you who are at the work, but what about school? Same thing. Like we have going back to school is a thing that like we're not gonna tell people that we show for ourselves to a place like this. Are we gatekeeping a little bit? Like do we not want them in our fun place? Is that it at all? No, everybody's good with anybody else being here. That's cool. I think that. Then what what was the thing that helped you transition from being uncomfortable again, like outside of like finding people who were like how did you know you were comfortable?
It was around the first time, probably first time I started and realizing that I had always walked that we could rather against I read comic books and play video games. And people might talk, oh, that's so weird. You don't watch football games, you know, that's like, don't watch that. That's another one. Then also, I was like a music person, you know, band, hip hop person. But then when I was dancing, like I said, let's say, go word for word, whatever I would say. Like, it was always the weirdest. Like, then one of the other, like, some people look at it, but then I said, we can just like, you know, like, the exact same thing I did. So everybody else around us does the exact same thing that we do. So I just a matter of finding what you all have people around you that help make you more comfortable being the geek that you are? No, you do not. Okay. You do now. You do now. Yeah, you do that. Hey, I remember when we were like 8, we were having a cookout. And um,
everybody in the cookout was playing co-pilot, and none of the adult men could get you off of the controller. And I remember them being very angry, but you being very proud. I was. I was. So, in navigating being comfortable, when you meet people who aren't comfortable, is there something different that you do with somebody who you find is not comfortable to help get them comfortable?
I'll try to find something that's big. So maybe something that I personally haven't before I haven't spoken before. And I'm like, yo, that actually is pretty cool. Let me go ahead and watch that show or to kind of be on that same wave. So maybe we could have maybe a basic conversation. The person maybe, well versed in Spider-Man, for example, and maybe I didn't get into Spider-Man. So let me go ahead, I'm gonna read this so we can have a conversation like that. And in doing so, you know what, hey, I like my big random thing for me is guns. So for a lot of people, if you didn't grow up like say watching Tsunami or like that back in the day, you may not necessarily have been exposed to it. Right. So I was like, hey, watch an episode of AD&C. And then we kind of have that common ground on something like that. Let's think just because I like something doesn't mean necessarily they're gonna like it or they're not gonna like it.
Oh yeah, you being like that.
You got it. But
before I do, no, here's the thing. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Love comic books, video games, and so forth, always have. Sid is considered like our anime guy, he's our anime guru. 90% of the time, 99% of the time, you can ask him an anime-related question, he's got an answer, and it's wonderful. Jokers are wrestling fans? All right, there's a couple of y'all. Okay, just be a couple. Jokers are wrestling guy, our Gundam guy, our Pokemon guy, Pokemon guy. I don't like any. I like. Here's the thing: we get along because I respect his family. Like I love that he loves those things. And the thing that I love about it is that I know he loves the things that he loves about those things are the same things I love about the things I love. Right? So it's not I think they both love, but like it's not like I hate Pokemon. I will not love Pokemon, right? I'm a collector. So if I start, I can't get away. It's a dangerous question. What's your fandom? What's your big fandom? Okay. So we're gonna do a couple of things. So they take while people in the building. We'll ask. What K-pop band is your favorite?
They were, and they did such a good job.
And because I have to just satisfy the necessity, the bias. And by proxy, who's mine?
His bias is actually whether he's like that or not, is on him.
You do what we do. Elaine, you would need to know mostly Batman. Yeah. Why Batman? But how that? Okay. He's square. Yeah. Okay. I like the square. When you found how do you find you this well? I guess that's what it means. How did you?
It was my best friend.
Hey, best friend Marvin. Let me tell y'all something. That guy takes incredible pictures. That dude shoots photos. Y'all need photos? That's him right there. And so y'all know. There'll be the same thing to see there, probably.
Yeah, no, I mean, I always do this when you did, but I don't like break down on myself.
Yeah.
And I think also on fun. You know, my cousin. I mean, I guess on air, like, I have be a part of my closet over this. And then everyone starts saying, like, they're going to talk to me about comics and Batman and Marvel, like, it's awesome, like, little like things like this, like, you know, just feel comfortable being myself.
Really? So do you feel most comfortable as yourself when you're acting?
I was like,
Yeah. That's not happening when you're okay.
no, but even I have my full time and these kind of I used to be able to do that myself.
That's fair.
Surrounded by sign.
I think that. Is there for you a significant difference between a nerd and a geek?
Honestly, I don't even really know on arts and
It's a little blurry.
I don't know what I am.
I think that's probably one of the things. And for those of you who are here in the crowd, are there is there anyone here who feels like they identify more with being a nerd versus being a geek? Is there a difference for you? Are you a nerd? You got nerd. Are you a geek? You got some of both. So what's the difference? Nerds are smart. I mean, you can be both. So okay, all right, well, I'll accept it. And I think that depends. But I have found, at least when I was growing up, when I was growing up, nerds were like very socially awkward, glasses, pocket protector, super smart, and only like made them do their homework is what a nerd was. And geeks is a little bit of a newer thing. I think geeks were more like a weirdo.
For me, so geek was always the person who was weirder who had that.
Sure.
And that's what the definition of it I always heard.
Right. So I think over time, what we've learned, especially doing something like this, is that like geeks slash nerds, but mostly geeks, just tend to be somebody who is really knowledgeable and has a lot of love for a particular thing, right? And so if you're really into sports, technically, you're a sports team. We have sports people here? A couple? Okay. But when you're into sports, Sin, what do they tend to call you? Yeah. If you're into history, you're a history buff. They don't necessarily call you a geek, like they get a different kind of a name, a different connotation. But like if you're heavily into motorcycles, if you're a Harley guy or gal, really, you're a Harley geek, right? So we need everything there is to know about it, and you love digging into the minute details of what that thing is, right? And for some reason, if that thing that you know every minute detail about is Batman, or anime, or God forbid Power Rangers. For some reason, you don't get to be an aficionado or a buff. You get labeled a geek because that makes you weird or something, right? I think a lot of that is changing. You agree that that's kind of changing again, the lines are more blurry. Who grew up on Tsunami? Yeah, see, I didn't get to do that. That was after the fact. Sin.
Yes.
When we was watching anime,
Yeah, we had a bootleg artist.
I would get it.
We had to get to the football hardcore, paper shit. Everybody, people be tortured on their shoulders.
Straight up. VHS.
Yes.
Hey Joe, what's the VHS? I think it's Tsunami, right? They stuff like anime, much more synonymous, right? So like everybody on the playground was watching the same thing, and you were learning about it and becoming enveloped in that world, and it was a little bit easier.
Like I say, they can go buy t-shirts at Target.
For sure.
You never did that.
You know, the Spider-Man stuff is everywhere. Like I want that to try right to be Spider-Man. Alex,
What's up?
hey, move your fire. It was right there. So again, like that landscape is changing. So, things are currently, right? How do you get comfortable?
I mean, I know everybody agrees that the community is so, and also I think there comes a time when you kind of stop. I think, like you just, once you find, you sometimes it's just that one person who can take the time to have a conversation with your person, whether they were interested or not. I think that when that takes place for you, you have a for the family, you start to. I think part of the reason we feel uncomfortable is because of a lack of respect. I think a lot of times people sit and superheroes, and we don't get the respect that we deserve, and so they feel like you are not being like you're not being. That creates a feeling of being upset and also that uncomfortability. So I think that finding someone who is able to say, oh, what are you telling me? Like, yeah, tell me all the things. Right? So I mean, I have power. Like, I do. But like,
Yeah. Hey, was anybody here? We ever voted at all? We definitely have some names in the air. Are any of you currently voting? That's interesting. We got one. A little bit. Kind of sort of. Okay. We can tell me. People, did I vote you to go up here? That, you know.
Why would you do this? I was like, I don't get it. I was like, well, we're walking on the weekend, like, you go to a book club, like, like, I don't know. Yeah. But it's the same thing, and it's not like not just for little kids.
Yeah.
They can grow.
Somebody really would help me. Couple of things. But the first thing is the realization that like everybody is a geek in some way for something. And I realized that it's not up to anybody else to decide how much of a fan you are by how you choose to celebrate your fandom. Case in point. You all know that like football is a big deal on Sunday, right? Yeah, that's a thing. Sunday night football is a thing. If you've ever been to a football game or watched one, seen a crowd, Now everybody like piled in, they have their jerseys on, they got their hats on, they act like they wear the team colors, like it's all a big deal. That's a thing they do, right? Why not? Yes. Isn't that cosplay? Right? Like you put on somebody else's jersey with somebody else's name on it because if you don't wear it that day, your team's not gonna win. Right? But that's the other thing, right? But then there are the people who go to the game naked and they paint themselves the color of the team and paint words on themselves. And they're the people that start the wave in the beginning of it. There are people who push their fandom way beyond what other people do. Right? Somebody who just wears a couple of t-shirts might still be a season pass holder, though, right? Have season tickets to that kind of thing, spend all kinds of money, and really love and enjoy what they do. And I realize that those people who dress up every Sunday with somebody else's jersey on, they can pretend to be somebody else, are no different than the Jedi's that show up when I go to a movie.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
yeah, weird.
and they are. People are weird. Exactly. Right? Or Orioles game. Like if you're out there and you see all the people in the Orioles gear, they're ready to go. I also had a conversation with the young lady once I ran into her at dress up, right? You know, like beautiful dress on her. I was like, we should graduate. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. I like, they're all dressed like it. He's like, yeah. Sure enough, they all were. I was like, you guys realize you're Star Wars. You're a cosplayer. You're like 501st. Oh, Sex in the City. Like that feeling that you got, like they were like, you have to, like it's a thing. You need to dress up to go see Sex in the City. I was like, I didn't know. So now I do. And now they understand, right? Well, that's right. Sex in the City. I never knew. Now I do. Here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to do. I want to start kind of getting some ideas about where people can go and rate groups. Oh, yes, I mean, besides programs, but I mean, that's it. Because for anybody who isn't comfortable or wants to be around more people like who are, I think it's important to share. I want to know what group you're in. Where you guys hang out on the internet, if it's safe, set us up. Yeah. I want to know that. But since what would you suggest to somebody who's looking for a place where they can go where it's safe, where they can find like-minded people?
Well, outside of our place, I think just using social media properly and finding whether it's a Reddit group or a Facebook group or a Discord server or a channel that some of your friends might be a part of, some like-minded people. I think that's the best way, one of the best ways to tackle finding somebody, especially in this COVID kind of climate we're coming out of. I think when social media is used properly, you can find your family out there. I've heard plenty of people a lot that, you know, in the anime and stuff like that, it's all about time with some good friends.
Allow us to like grow right? And then walk up to people and tell them what they're doing.
Are online friends considered real friends in your mind?
Yeah. Yeah. Matter of fact, we have a guy who was with us yesterday, he's back here today. His friend came down from New York. This is the first time they ever met each other. They're gamers. They play online, and now they're hanging out here at AwesomeCon for the first time. So yeah, absolutely. I think an online friend can absolutely be a real friend for sure. A joke outside of the Pokemon chat. Oh. You have any friends who are fans in here? Here we go. It's peaceful to me. No,
That's what it's going.
So, where can people go? Where can they go to find like-minded people? What's the definition of that?
My favorite of out there, like, a lot of places on school campuses have good environments. Like we just recently were at Bowie State University and actually found out they have a pretty cool anime club on campus. And what was pretty interesting was there were students that came to their panel that they were at and they had no idea that something like that actually existed on campus. So definitely a school type of environment is a good place to go. The internet, social media now is probably just like the easy, accessible thing. If you're fortunate enough to come to like a con environment like this, I would say, 90% of the people that are, 95% of the people that are here are fairly good people that you'll run into. There's always the one-off type of person that you may run into. But when you're able to come to like these panels that maybe focus on your fandom or something like that, like earlier today, there was a Power Ranger panel in here for a fan version of it. And I'm sure same thing, if you're a Power Ranger fan, you go to something like that. But definitely social media, school environments are probably some of your easiest things to get into.
Here's what I'm gonna say. It's probably easier to find like-minded people on social media. And it's probably easier to feel comfortable giving a message or a remark or a comment or something, in that space. But when you're somewhere like this, right, and you see somebody who has on a pretty cool cosplay that you really like, tell them, let them know, introduce yourself, right? Ask them if they have Instagram and follow, right? You really do have to sometimes break out of your shell a little bit in order to create a network for yourself that creates that safety net for you, right? So, look, by all means, you guys can follow me on my personal page. Like, I don't have a problem with that, right? But I do think it's important to, again, recognize that, oh man, they did a great job with that. I really like it, right? And kind of show that love, but to actually start talking to people, because you kind of have to do some of that work yourself. Like, it's not necessarily just if you're more comfortable in a space like this than you are when you leave. Like, if Monday is going to be like a disaster, right? If it's not going to feel comfortable for you on Monday, then here's a place where right here, right now, you can meet people where on Monday, jump in that chat, right? And start talking to people to get that level of comfortability that maybe you don't have outside of that. If you are going back to work and the people at work have no idea you came to a thing like this, try not to assume that they wouldn't want to be here. But they might be hiding it from you just like you're hiding it from them, right? And they might find out you went to this thing and they're like, oh, I wish I knew. I would have gone, right? So I'm trying to be geeky a little bit right now. Who's my favorite K-pop group today?
Well, no, it's not true. He's the favorite K-pop group. It's not.
They got the choice. What you mean? They got the choice.
Also, FYI, if you're going to do these,
Indeed. Utilize hashtags, right? Yeah. I would tell you, if it's not necessarily about stuff like this, if it's about like meeting people and having people to hang out with. Yep. Go to like meetup.com. Like there are meetup groups in this area that do some of everything. There are literally meetup groups for softball, ranking, for tennis, for bowling, or whatever, right? So if there's a particular thing that you want to do, right, you can actually go and you can find through a website like meetup.com that has groups of people, and they'll travel from place to place. Like the salsa group I used to follow, they would just be like, this Saturday we're going to be at this salsa club, and this Saturday we're at this one, and this Wednesday, we're gonna be here. And most of that group, they just kind of go, and so when they get there, they know people, they see people they've seen, before. It's things like that. Again, sometimes you have to do the legwork, right? Like it's not necessarily just gonna happen for you. But it actually can happen. You just gotta put in a little effort on your end and try not to keep people out. Just in case there's somebody who thinks the same thing you think or feels the same way you feel, and they just don't know that they can be. How long have you started Chicago? 8 years ago. There's Comic-Cons for far longer than that, right? Prior to doing that, did you know Comic-Cons were a thing? Right? So, anybody who's seen Big Bang Theory, I'm sure knows that there are Comic-Cons, right? Like an animal. But that shows only what's so old, right? So again, spaces like this, there are people that have no idea they even exist, right? And that person might be on, or might be looking for something like this and have no idea that it's an option. So sometimes it is on us to get to a point where we're comfortable enough to be who we are and stay where we are, and that conversation can happen, right? There are other people. Don't get me wrong. All right. Since best advice you have for anybody who's currently not comfortable.
Reach out to your family and your friends. Express it. It's okay to, share what's on your heart, share what's on your mind, and, they can help you feel it forward.
Thank you.
You more of what we are more. Whatever media is, like, we can't. Oh, you're not comfortable talking. Take your time. Figure out what is best for
I would say don't be scared. You're on cameras, yourself, don't get ready to express yourself, don't lie, someone on the way.
Yeah. No.
I would say, try to be open as you possibly can, where, you want to share your fans, but also be, try to find those type of common ground out there. Like you say, try to invite people into some of those things where maybe they wouldn't necessarily like it, but because they haven't experienced or been familiar with it, that can open it.
And then we get like, man, who's perfect? We're two we are. Perfect. People who don't like madness. You love madness? You don't do that. I know it's a thing in some places, but seriously, it's family. It's like forward and forward. We're together. So here's what I'm gonna do. Is there anybody here who has questions? Any of us up here, except for Lane? Yes. For me personally, stuff like this, like having an opportunity when we started, this started as like a podcast for us, just talking about things that we like because we were doing it anyway. Like we get on Xbox Live or whatever, we were talking about the stuff we like anyway. So like, why don't we do it and share it, right? And it wasn't there was going to be no video, there was no YouTube, it's going to be like there's going to be audio, and it still made me very nervous.
Oh my God. Like, we be up here now, I was so comfortable. Now, but at first, I was just sitting behind the mic, just us and just talking, just a session.
You video.
Who's making me more nervous,
Yeah.
but that's for another week, guys, and
Seriously, opening up and doing something like this has allowed us to meet so many people, so many great people who love so many different things. I've learned about so many fandoms I didn't even know existed. And whether I like them or not, again, I just love the fact that people love it. And I can appreciate that. Do you guys have a thing like that? Something that you just, when you decided to open up and go for it, the best thing that came out of it?
Yeah, I mean, mention, I met all of my friends, but I am not right.
Yeah.
I never expected that to happen. I just thought I was gonna go and walk around.
Yeah. Oh.
At a point, so I used to work for a bank. So for me, like now I'm 32, I work for a bank probably in my late 20s. So everyone that I work with,
That was like 3 years ago. And they got it was a long
but you know, working kind of in a bank type of environment, it was a lot of older people in comparison to like my age range. So I'll say 90% of the time, it's like, yeah, I have on a suit and tie and everything. There was probably like Dragon Ball Z or some type of shirt that was underneath of it. So, you know, one day I wore just, it was like a bluish color shirt, but you could actually see through it if someone saw my Dragon Ball Z shirt. And you know, it's like, wait, you like Dragon Ball Z? And like literally just started a whole conversation on a floor in a bank. And then in doing so, opened up other people to say, wait, so you like anime, you like these type of things? I'm like, yeah, I go to conventions all the time. They're like, what? Really? That's a thing? So I literally had a whole conversation with people that didn't know like this was a thing. And it started opening up to like, you know, I watched the MCU movies. And like, and it just started to cascade from there. Because when it's like that type of environment, at one point like I felt like kind of a solo person in the vein doing what I thought I was one person that liked that stuff. And then because of that one instance of someone being able to see my Dragon Ball Z shirt, it opened up a whole entire world.
I would like to add coworker is not in any of this. I happened to mention to him that I love this stuff, right? And I just felt like this, and he said to me, yeah, my son's kind of into that stuff. I said, oh yeah? And he's like, yeah, he likes to draw. I got this like a really talented artist, right? He likes to draw, and he thinks about going to school, the art school, and I have some artists, people went to art school, and he graduated from high school. His son graduated from high school yesterday. And as a gift, because of that, we were able to give him a pass to come here, to be able to come to Austin College. So he's here, and dad's like, I'll buy a pass. We got him in. And it was great. It's a wonderful thing to talk to somebody who isn't into it, who doesn't care about it. Like, my kid's into it. You know what I mean? But we were able to, and now they're here together. They're here walking around the show floor together, bonding over something that the father didn't really have any interest in, so to speak. So really, really cool. Yes, I saw a question in the back. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Time's up. So here's what we're gonna do. Listen. Thank you all for coming. I greatly appreciate it. Give yourself a round of applause. You guys are gonna follow us. It's easy to find us. We're at Loading Tank. Across the board, anywhere you search it, you'll find us. Feel free to follow us. We'll be outside if you guys want to talk. If you have other questions or anything else you want to do me a favor and make sure you go visit Lane's Food. Okay? What's your food number? Oh. 2757. That's what he said. 2757. You guys, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you all. We'll be outside. Over.